Time for Angels Spring Training Baseball this afternoon from Tempe Diablo Stadium. The Angels are back home to take on an Arizona Diamondbacks split squad. Another picture-perfect day here in the Valley as the Angels are back home here in Tempe. Terry Smith along with Jose Mota. Good ball game yesterday, Jose, for the Angels. They played the Cubs, and a guy who really was at the top of his game and really all spring long was Johnny Giavotella. 3 more hits for the Angels, and Jose, he's a guy that's starting to make a name for himself this spring.
Terry, it was only a matter of time before Johnny Giavotella showed why he has been a .305 career average hitter in the minor leagues, and he has really stepped up. Right now, the season opens. He is here starting second baseman. Remember, too, he's out of options. That's always a plus and an asset for you, but he really brings a gritty game and presence to the lineup. On the field, he's communicating much better now with Eric Eibach. He's tough hanging around the base, turning double plays, and certainly because, of course, he knows the opportunities he's had before. He knows he's got to grab this one and go with it, Terry. He's doing it with a glove, but with a bat, even more impressive. This guy's always hit, getting better with the glove, but certainly his numbers tell you that right now, he is the one guy Mike Scioscia knew at some point was going to surface.
Little John is just 5'8", playing big for the Angels so far this spring. How does Mike Scioscia assess what he's seen so far this spring at second base?
Well, there's some guys that I think have started to put their best foot forward. I think obviously Johnny Giavotella is doing a nice job there. You've seen Taylor Featherstone get more comfortable on the infield and starting to make some plays. And Josh Rutledge hasn't gotten on track yet. So with Grant Green, still in the mix, we'll see how this last week goes. But no doubt we need to get somebody to play at a certain level to step up and win a job.
With that getting settled, close to being settled, how much does that help you in evaluating the rest of the guys for the backup spots?
Well, you have to obviously look at all 4 guys, and there's a lot of different rosters going around right now to where is it one guy, is it a combination of guys? I think we want to evaluate the talent first, see what they're capable of doing, then we kind of can decide who's going to be able to get a line share if one guy, or you have to mix and match.
Mike Scioscia talking about the Angels' second base situation, and Jose, the other names are still the same out there.
They are the same. Guys that can play different positions. The one guy the Angels are hoping to get him back on track is Josh Rutledge. He has spent time at third base, a shortstop at second base, but certainly Mike Scioscia knows that Taylor Featherstone is a presence, Rule 5, and also consider that Grant Green at least has a track history with the Angels in the regular season, and to me, that's always a plus.
All right, Jose, let's talk pitching and the Angels' rotation. There's a pretty good possibility maybe we'll only see 4 starters in that rotation for the first week and a half or so of the season.
That's very possible. In fact, that's going to set up the ace, Jared Weaver, perhaps, to pitch 3 times in the Angels' first 10 games. Remember, there's no flexible, though, because if he has a sore arm at the end, Mike Scioscia wants to push him, well, then things change. But I like what we're seeing in the evolution of the guys getting their work in, whether it's on the minor league side, on the big league side, with Pittsburgh throwing great yesterday, winning another game. Santiago throwing 90 pitches already. CJ, who really said, I just try to let it go. We saw him throw the ball really well, even though he allowed a couple of home runs against the Giants. And Matt Shoemaker came from a AAA outing to really being dominant and pitching the way he knows how to pitch against the Mariners, who they will see a lot, of course, this season. All adding to the fact that there's more depth, of course, with Heaney, who needs to step up. Tropiano pitch a little bit better, and not forgetting a guy named Drew Ruzinski.
And Garrett Richards is waiting in the wings for the Angels as well. Well, today it's the Angels and the D-backs, a split squad, but an old familiar face is going to be here in Tempe today. That's Mark Trumbo.
Everybody with the Angels loves Mark Trumbo, from the clubhouse to the community and people over at the Big A, because this guy averaged 31 home runs in 3 seasons with the Angels. Local product, a great kid, and certainly, of course, we hope to see him put up some good numbers over in the NL West this season.
Trumbo's had a good spring, hitting nearly 400 for Arizona. So that's what's on tap. The Angels and the Diamondbacks, a split squad for Arizona. Beautiful day here in the Valley. We'll have the lineups and all the action for you. It's coming up next on Fox Sports West.
against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Welcome back to our broadcast, our simulcast here on AM 830 and Fox Sports West. So glad you could join us. Jose Mora alongside Terry Smith. The hometown D-backs against the Angels. Angels playing good baseball. They're already on the field for the D-backs on a split squad. Glenn Sherlock is managing here today. A.J. Pollock leading off in center. Nick Ahmed is a shortstop batting second. All favorite Mark Trumbo is a designated hitter batting third. Josmani Tomas, the Cuban import, at third base batting fourth. Aaron Hill at second base batting fifth. He'll be followed by Nick Evans in left field. Jordan Pacheco batting seventh at first base. Tuffy Golsowicz is a catcher. He is batting eighth in. Nick Buss is in right field, batting ninth on the mound. Archie Bradley for the D-backs. Angels starting lineup brought to you by McDonald's. It is a perfect meaning of beef and cheese. McDonald's new triple cheeseburger, loaded with 3 100% pure beef patties and real American cheese. It's everything you love and more of it. Now available for just $2.49.
So we'll get the Angels lineup in for you in just a moment. Things running a little bit early here today, so we will get ready for baseball action here this afternoon in Tempe. The Angels come in 13 wins, 8 losses, 1 tie. The D-backs 12 wins, 10 losses, 2 ties. C.J. Wilson pitching today, and he is ready to face A.J. Pollock. His first pitch, that is right in there for a called strike. The Angels line up this afternoon. Ibar leads it off at short. Trout, the center fielder, bats second. Pujols at first base hits third. Joyce, the DH, bats fourth. Navarro in right hits fifth. Green will be in left field, batting number 6 as that pitch is low. And it's 1-1. And the bottom third of the order for the Angels. Kyle Kavitsa at third base will bat seventh. Drew Butera, the catcher, hits eighth. And Josh Rutledge plays second base and bats ninth. Next pitch. That one low again, and it's 2-1 on Pollock. It's a bit warmer today here in the Valley. 88 degrees for Friday afternoon baseball here in Tempe. And the 2-1. Lifted in the air, hit pretty well into center field. Trout's going back, still back, and Trout reaches up on the warning track, dead center. That ball hit about 415 to dead center, and that is out number 1.
That was some pretty solid contact, and Mike Trout, right before the pitch, he's asking Dino Ebel inside the Angels dugout about positioning. Pollock, this pitch was hit as hard as he wanted to hit a pitch like that. I mean, right down the middle. Good angle. We saw Mike Trout earlier in spring misplay a ball like this because as he saw that little loop out there, little curve, he allowed himself to open up a shoulder and give himself room to stretch out.
Well, Trout's been out here for 3 weeks playing games now, a little bit more accustomed to the surroundings and Cactus League baseball.
And the habits of, making sure you give yourself some time to open up and round that baseball a little bit.
Nick Ahmed batting. First pitch was in there. So's that one. Called strike, and he's quickly in the hole, 0-2. Ahmed was in 25 games for the D-backs last year. Hit only 200. He's having a pretty good spring, hitting a little bit over 300. And the 2-strike pitch. That's low and in. 1-2 the count.
Middle in. He's going to get you. Has a tendency, as we pointed out in previous games with Ahmed, to open up with that front foot, but he's got enough plate coverage because his back foot is at times closer to the plate to allow him to bail out sometimes and cover the outer half.
1-2 on Ahmed, and that one is a pitch low. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nick Ahmed was originally in the Braves organization, came over to the D-backs back in January of 2013. Hit over 300 last year in AAA. Very good defensive infielder, shortstop, and the pitch. He hits that one right through into left center field, a low line drive single. And now he's going for 2, and Trout's throw to second. That's way off line. That was actually Green who made the throw. And that's going to be a hustle double there for Nick Ahmed.
Gotta love that. As a team, go out there and do your homework and understand that the guy playing left field perhaps is not your everyday or somebody who's accustomed to playing left field. He took the chance. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He saw who was going after the baseball and sliding in second base, never taking that base hit for granted.
That was a ball that just barely cleared the infield in the air, and it was only hit about 3 feet off the ground, but he ends up getting a double on it. So here's Mark Trumbo. Trumbo's having a very good spring. Couple homers, 10 RBIs. He's hitting .389, and he takes that one for ball 1. It's 1-0.
Laying off the off-speed first pitch, Trumbo.
Mark Trumbo last season had a left foot stress fracture. Only played in 88 games. Missed nearly half of last season. Wilson bluffs a toss to second base.
Certainly was fun to watch Trumbo in the Angels uniform. Local kid, had to prove a lot of people wrong in the minor league. Finally gets a chance. And it was one long ball after the other.
Here's the next pitch. That one is taken for a called strike.
Including some majestic home runs here in batting practice. Including hitting balls over that 420 and beyond the hitter's eye here at Tempe Diablo Stadium.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine you could do it.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Trumbo is now 28 years old. Takes a big cut at that pitch and misses it. So it's 1-2. Trumbo can hit the ball about as far as anyone in the game. He's also a swing and miss guy.
Well, he and Trout share something that obviously a lot of people don't know about. But now they do. Single season strikeout record.
Here's the pitch. This one is hit way up in the air into right center. It's a routine play for McLaren. He's going to make the catch. The runner ahead will tag. Here comes the throw. It'll be cut off by Ibar. So that was deep enough in right center to advance the runner to third. 2 outs in the inning. And Yasmani Tomas will be the next batter.
So Mike Trout last year tied Trumbo's record of 184 Ks in a season. All eyes right now, Terry, on Tomas. And that is why Tony La Russa is here. Your chief baseball officer for the D-backs to our left. All eyes on this man right here. Is he a fit or not when the team opens up the regular season?
Tomas is hitting .250 with a couple home runs this spring. And the first pitch, he takes that one for ball one. It's 1 ball, no strikes. He signed a 6-year, $68.5 million deal. This is his first year playing in the States, and the pitch, a big cut and a miss at that one. 1-1 to count.
He's had trouble adjusting to the speed of the game. He has trouble adjusting defensively at third base. He does have some thunder, but certainly still a work in progress.
Here's the next pitch, and that one is low. When scouts have talked about Tomas, and again his first year here in the States, some Kevin Mitchell comparisons. Kind of the same body type.
You're right.
Very thick body. Upper body, lower body. But this guy will not get cheated at the plate. He's a free swinger, big uppercut swing, and the next pitch, he took a big cut at that one and fouls it back behind the plate.
Well educated with the great baseball institutes and programs in Cuba since the guys are 11, 12 years old. Baseball is immersed. They go to school, they go to the Baseball Institute and the academies. He had a home run here in spring training earlier on a 3-0 count, Terry, but the other way. How often do you see that?
Yeah.
3-0, green light, home run to the opposite field.
Tomas, tired of waiting, backs out of the box. They list him at 6'2", 255. I don't know if he's quite that tall. Here's the pitch, and that one a little bit inside, so it's a full count, 3-2. Infield is backed up. Round the infield, the Angels have Pujols playing first, Rutledge at second, Kubica at third with Ibar at short. Outfield, Green in left, Trout in center, Navarro in right, Utera catching, Joyce DHing, and 34-year-old left-hander C.J. Wilson delivers, and on the 3-2, that's high and outside. He walked him. So C.J. now has runners at the corners, and Aaron Hill will bat. In Cactus League play, Wilson coming into the game had pitched only 7 1/3 innings, but he has appeared in some other action on the mound, intra-squad game. He's had a little bit of a knee issue this spring. Speaking of CJ, also had a virus problem that forced him to miss a start. Here's the pitch on Hill. And that's right in there for a called strike.
Just don't get fooled by the size. This Southern Californian can hit the ball a long ways. Former J. Aaron Hill.
Here's the next pitch, and he hits that one hard but foul. That had the lead runner at third base, Ahmed, hitting the deck. So the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Trout shading Hill a little bit the opposite way. Here's the 2-strike pitch. That's a late swing, and it's fouled off on the right side, backing out of play. Oh, and 2 the count. CJ's already made 22 pitches here in the first inning, and he'd like to get out of it very soon. Here's the 0-2. That's low in the dirt. That was a good block by Butera. That one gets by him, and they likely get a run on the board.
Terry, there's times when you need to block something right. Drew Butera needed that. He's had a couple of rough games, and certainly he needed to get off to a good start like that and blocking a pitch that's important in the situation right now for C.J. Wilson.
Wilson ready to come in with the next delivery, and it's on its way. It's popped up on the right side foul. Navarro has a real long run, and that one's going to get a few rows back anyway out of play. Navarro playing in right field today. Pujols did not go after that one over at first base, so the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Fans, it's time once again to go around the grill with Albertsons for tender ribs. Low and low is the key. Maintain a low temperature for several hours. Spikes and valleys of heat will tend to dry out the meat, but consistent low heat will deliver results you are looking for. Round the Grill, it's brought to you by Albertsons. You're in for something fresh, and on the 1-2, CJ fools Hill, swings and misses, struck him out, and that will end the inning. So Wilson pitches out of first inning trouble, no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, no errors, and runners left at the corners. We're headed to the bottom of the first inning, no score on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. First we go, no score. Ibar, Trout, and Pujols against young right-hander Archie Bradley. Bradley, a former first-round pick of the D-backs. That was back in 2011. He was the 7th player overall selected in that draft. He's been very highly touted. His career has had a little ups and downs in recent years. Last year, between AAA, AA, and rookie ball, he was 3-7. He's also had some elbow issues going back to last season. First pitch of ball on Ibar. But Bradley's still highly touted, and the pitch that's in there for a called strike.
No, there's no doubt. Look at the size, look at the stuff, and what he presents overall. He is still a work in progress that, of course, shoots out and projects to be a top of the rotation type of guy.
Here's the next pitch, and that's off speed. It misses low, 2-1.
And their general manager, Dave Stewart, just about 10 days ago said, no matter what, he still needs a lot of work. And that's what a young man needs to hear sometimes early from somebody like that with that reputation as Dave Stewart.
2-1 pitch. That one misses low.
Dave Stewart said, Terry, what many people were probably afraid to tell him. Still need a lot of work. You're not done yet.
Bradley appearing in his 5th game this spring, 3rd start. ERA's 2.38 this spring, and Ibar lifts one in the air into left field. Nick Evans is circling under that one, a few feet from the rim of the track. Routine play, and that's the first out. Mike Trout, the batter. Trout is having a big spring, hitting over 450, and he's hit safely in 10 straight games this spring.
Rangers continue to just tear up the baseball. Came into this game hitting .309 as a team. Best in all of baseball. Led by this man.
Here's the pitch on Trout. Takes a big cut, fouls it off on the right side, backing out of play.
First pitch swinging. Yep, it is spring training, but he is conscious of the fact that he wants to do that a little bit more. Swung at barely just above 10% of first pitches last season.
Here's the 0-1, and that one is inside. Mike Trout is a huge sports fan, and he is a big NFL fan. His team growing up, and still his favorite team in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles. The pitch, it's lined in the center. It's stopping, and it'll fall in for another hit. Pollock will play it in on one hop. Trout just keeps banging out hits like crazy, and Albert Pujols will be the next batter. A couple of days ago, the NFL coaches were here in the Phoenix area for their annual off-season convention, and Eagles coach Chip Kelly, who has gotten to know Mike Trout, he's a Eagles season ticket holder. He came over to see Mike, and he was very excited about that. Had a chance to meet coach of his favorite NFL team.
Who was more excited?
I think it was mutually. There goes Trout. The pitch is long. No throw to second. Boy, Trout started that headfirst dive a little early, but they never threw to second, and he just kept gliding on the dirt into second base.
There's something the D-backs will see a lot of running against them. Unproven catchers are the guys that are going to be commanding behind the plate.
So now a base hit can bring him in. Albert had 4 RBIs last night against the Cubs, hit another homer. And here's the pitch. That's low and in. That had Albert kind of moving those feet in the batter's box. 2-0.
Albert's got his feet, he's got his legs. You can see that he's not running on his heels as much anymore due to the fact that he doesn't feel like he has to compensate for anything in his bottom half as he had the previous 3 springs.
2-0 the count. Waiting on deck is Joyce. Next pitch on Albert. Big cut. Missed that pitch, and it's 2-1 with Trout getting the hit here in the bottom of the first. Angels' first hit of the game brought to you by 714 Tickets. If you want to make a hit on sports, concert, or theater tickets, log on to 714tickets.com. 714 Tickets celebrating 25 years of business. 714 Tickets. Call today. Go tonight. The count is 2-1 on Albert. Bradley's pitch, and it hits him. Boy, he turned his back. Looked like it caught him around the number on the back of his jersey, and runners will be on at first and second. Pujols hit by that pitch, and actually got him a little bit lower than the number, kind of the top part of the backside.
Yeah, it's okay. Got him on the glute. It's okay. That's a good spot. If you're going to get hit, somebody with a good arm, that's a good spot.
Well, usually you have a little extra padding back there. So,
you know, and Albert quietly has taken over. He's slugging .628. Took over the team lead in home runs with 4. and also took over the RBI lead with 14. Just quietly and subtly, he was right there.
Pujols hitting over 300 this spring. Here's another guy who's been hitting well. Matt Joyce hitting 400 this spring. Not nearly as many at bats, though, say a Pujols or a Trout. Here's the pitch on Joyce with 2 on, and he takes it for a called strike.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. It seems like every time we see Matt Joyce make contact, he is crushing balls to every part of the diamond.
Angels now have a couple left-handed hitters to face Bradley. Joyce one of them. Navarro waiting on deck another. Here's the next delivery, and that one is low. And for Navarro waiting on deck, kind of taking a page out of Garrett Anderson's book. Garrett used to kneel down from time to time in the on-deck circle. We just saw Efren doing that, stretching out.
Observe, watch, train your eyes. Also a good timing with your eyes from one knee.
Here's the 0-2, and Joyce is out looking. Didn't like the call. Thought it might have been a little high and outside, but he's called out on strikes. There are 2 away, and the Angels need a 2-out hit from Navarro.
I don't think this was by design, but certainly it did the job. Recamo that just kind of backs up on the outer half. Bradley, not to have that type of command with a breaking ball, at least had Joyce honest enough, thinking about maybe being pushed off the plate there. 0-2.
Gosowich, the catcher, did a good job of framing that pitch. Got the call from Rob Drake, the home plate umpire. So here's Navarro, who's hitting over 450 this spring, and he takes that one for a called strike.
Hey,
the rest of
there is a big zone, so be ready. Rob Drake, another Southern California, is going to be calling maybe a little beyond the corner, so he's showing you right now you got to protect the plate with 2 strikes.
He's been a pitcher's umpire early today. Here's the next pitch, way outside. That one did not look good coming out of the right hand of Bradley. A pitch nowhere close, so it's 1-1.
Yeah, that's part of the things that you got to go through with a pitcher with so much talent and good stuff is sometimes understanding that everything doesn't have to be full speed, especially when you're trying to spin the breaking ball.
Counts 1-1. Next pitch, fouled off left side. That's going to get back and out of play. Today's game being brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. There's fresh and there's In-N-Out Fresh. Always the highest quality ingredients, always made to order. Never compromised at In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger's all about. Why not stop in after today's game? Bradley ready. This will be pitch 19, and this is a bouncer off the back of the mound. Off the glove of the shortstop amid. A run will score as the throw is way offline, and the Angels will have runners at first and second. That was a hot smash that hit off the back of the mound. That slowed the ball down a little bit. Ahmed went diving to try and stop it, and even if he had stopped it cleanly, they wouldn't have had a play. So it's an RBI hit for Navarro, and the Angels have a 1-0 lead.
That's pretty good range right there by Ahmed, and the way he went glove side, knocks the ball down, which is ideally your thinking, and that's your thought immediately with 2 outs, men in scoring position. And that's what you want to do here. Then as a pitcher, of course, you got to back up the throws. You got throws coming everywhere. This is a pretty wild throw and wide home plate.
So here's Grant Green. A hit could mean another run. Pujols the lead runner at second. Navarro at first. There's a pitch in there for a called strike.
We got Navarro who came into this game, Terry, as he mentioned, hitting 450. Now you got Krause, who hasn't played in a while. He's hitting 500. Vying for those backup spots.
Green awaits the next pitch. Bradley checks second, delivers, and a swing and a miss. So the count jumps to 0-2. Green, another hitter in the Angels lineup, hitting over 300 this spring, 306. Bradley is set. Next delivery, it's cut on, fouled off on the right side. It's going to get back and out of play. Both pitchers struggling a bit in the first inning. Wilson was able to work out of it. D-backs left runners at first and third. Angels have cashed in with 1 so far. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Chance to get some more. And the 0-2 pitch. Green stays alive, chopping that one foul back behind the plate.
Good job. We're talking about the wide zone today, and by Rob Drake. And Grant Green not taking that for granted. That pitch is close enough where you have to go out there and protect on the breaking ball. Rob Drake always very generous with his time and understanding and talking to us about spring training things. And last year with the incorporation of the replays, this year is the timers and the clocks. Always appreciate that time.
0-2. Green takes a low. Good block by the catcher, Gosowicz. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Another group of umpires had a chance to visit with him today. Drake, Barrett, Dreckman, and Whitson. Very happy with how things are going, with the pace of the game, and guys getting back in the box quickly.
So we'll see what happens on the next one. The 2-strike delivery. It's swung on and missed, and that's the final out. Second strikeout in the inning for Archie Bradley. But the Angels do get a first inning run. Had a pair of singles, a batter in the inning, no errors, and 2 runners left. After 1, it's 1-0 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Second inning baseball, 1-0 Angels as C.J. Wilson delivers the first pitch in there. The batter is Nick Evans, and the count 0-1. This copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of Angels Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Angels Baseball. Well, 1 pitch was in there. The count 0-2. Evans, Pacheco, and Gosowicz, the batters. Here's the next pitch. It's grounded on the left side. Ball off the glove of the diving third baseman Kibitz. He was ranging to his left, away from the line at third base, and no chance to get a throw over to first. So that's going to be an infield single for Evans.
The good thing about this is you want to keep the infielders busy. This side of the infield better for C.J. Wilson. The other part here, Terry, is Kibitz not being aware as to how close Eric Ibar was to that play. It appeared like Ibar was going to be in front of that play because he was shading to his right.
So here's Pacheco, who was with the D-backs and the Rockies last year. The pitch. Right in there, called strike.
A lot of the positioning issues going on right now. You know, it's not necessarily only the shifts that we need to talk about. It's the fact that there's something called shading, fade. I mean, all these little terms that have been around for a long time, but being thrown with more importance right now.
Next pitch, low. Blocked by Butera. 1-1 to count. C.J. Wilson in the top of the first inning had the type of inning we see a lot from him. People get on base.
Especially the 2-out walk.
Yeah.
Which really has hurt him.
Here's the 1-1, and that's way high and outside. C.J. stumbled a little bit delivering that pitch. Last season, when Wilson would be on the mound and people would get on base against him, he had trouble getting out of those jams. The year before, 2013, he was like a magician pitching out of trouble. And we'll see what lies ahead here in 2015. 2-1, and that's high and outside. But the bottom line is he's a guy that has a lot of stressful innings out there, Jose.
He is. And as you mentioned last year, the numbers way far off the previous year when he won 17 games. Just was not able to stop the bleeding. And certainly told me early in camp, yeah, all pointing at me, my fault.
And that one there is nowhere close, and that's ball 4.
One thing Wilson does, and I know we talk sometimes about what pitchers do as reminders. Hector Santiago in the lanes that we draw from the mound down. But CJ, what he does, he gets on the mound and he counts his stride by putting one foot in front of the other before he throws his first warm-up pitch. So to him, the important thing is the length of that stride. And overstriding, of course, leads to a lot of bad habits and balls flying all over. But he wants to control it and have a little reminder as to where he should be around when he lands.
So here's the catcher, Gosewich, and he takes that one for a strike. There is no question the Angels need a bounce-back season this year from C.J. Wilson.
He is as big as they come.
Here's the next delivery, and this one is tapped softly on the left side. Ibar bobbles the ball and then throws to third, hoping the runner would go off the bag, rounding it, but he doesn't. Everybody's safe, and that will be an error on Ibar. That looked like it might have a shot to be a double play, especially with the catcher running. If nothing else, a sure out at second, and the Angels don't get anyone.
Even to the most experienced, it comes down to one thing. Starting with the baseball. Eric Ibar, because the ball was not hit all that very hard, he was a little out of sync and distracted by the fact that the ball was not getting to his glove quick enough. And that's what made that ball pop out of there.
So Nick Buss, a player who last year was in the A's and Dodgers system, played AAA, was in the minors all last year. He's the batter, left-handed hitter, and the first one is in there. He's the only left-handed batter in their lineup. So Wilson is in a real jam here. Bases loaded, no outs.
Well, if you want a matchup, here it is, Terry. Inexperience and a lefty. Make the most out of it.
0-1. Way outside. 1-1 the count. It's 1-0 Angels. We're in the second inning. Wilson's pitch count is already nearing 40 pitches in one official inning of work. No outs here in the second. And the 1-1 pitch. Got him to chase the breaking ball there. He missed it badly. 1-2.
He's gone to the off speed a couple of times. That's one of them. The slider took something off of it. Struck out Aaron Hill on a changeup to finish out the first inning. At least in that respect, he's got a feel for it, but fastball command is what really matters in this outing for C.J. Wilson.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the next delivery, and it's swung on and missed. He got him, struck him out, came back. It looked like with the same pitch, and that's out number 1. Big out. Pollock, the center fielder, leadoff man, will be the next batter. Second strikeout for Wilson.
This is where inexperience helped him. He got away with a hanging breakable that maybe just tied him up a little bit, but certainly not a pitch that C.J. knows he can build off of for the rest of the season. That one.
Pollock flied out to Trout his first time up and hit the ball deep out to the track in dead center. Here's the pitch, and that one is low. 1 ball, no strikes. Pollock hit over 300 last year, but he missed a lot of time last season. Had a broken right hand last year. Only played in 75 games. Played his college baseball at Notre Dame. A.J. Pollock, former first-round pick of the D-backs, and the pitch. He lines a base hit up the middle. One run will score. A second is coming in. The throw will be to third base, and it's late. And then hustling up to second on the throw to third is Pollock. And now the D-backs have a 2-1 lead.
A great job by Pollock following the baseball, and I think it's a mistake by Mike Trout. You got to hit the cutoff man, at least, if you're going to take a chance on throwing the ball to third base, or just go ahead. You got to grant third base, but you cannot allow the batter to get the second base here. He's aggressive enough charging, but you can see the ball sailing over Ibar. And one of the things that, of course, you got to pay attention to and correct understanding the game situation more.
So here is Ahmed, who doubled his first time up. Runners at second and third, infield in. 2 runs on the board. D-backs up 2-1 in the first pitch. That one misses low. Or no breeze to speak of. 88 degrees when we got started here about 40 minutes ago. The pitch, that's bounced off of CJ's foot. Diving stop there by Rutledge. Fires the first and they get it out. So Rutledge with a nice play. CJ had that one hit his foot, it appeared. It slowed it down just a bit, but that was a good play by Rutledge. A run will score on it, though. The runner comes in easily from third base, Gosowicz, and it's 3-1 Arizona with 2 outs.
Well, we've seen some so-so defense. Now we've seen an outstanding play by Josh Rutledge at second base, showing tremendous range. Great instincts and reflexes there to save this inning from prolonging and being worse.
So here is Trumbo, the 7th batter up in the inning. Runner at third, 2 outs, a pitch. That's lined into left field. That's going to be an RBI hit. Trumbo will likely get 2 on it. He's headed for second base, and he will coast in there with a 2-out RBI double. And now it's 4-1 D-backs.
They came out swinging. Even number 9 hitter, he struck out. You see him go down swinging. Pollock up the middle. Trumbo, so off speed early in his first at bat, laid off of it. Came back with the same idea, staying back and just treating the at bat as if he already had a strike on him, and does not miss a very hittable pitch. And once again, involved in this inning is the walk.
So here is Tomas. So the 4 runs in the inning, only 2 are earned. Here's the pitch, and that's in there for a called strike. The Angels bat in the bottom of the second, down by 3. It'll be Kubica, Butera, and Rutledge bottom third of the batting order against Bradley. Wilson's at 45 pitches, and the next one, that's pitch he jams Tomas, and he fouls it back to the screen. It's 0-2.
Looks like Tomas, the whole idea was thinking about only one thing, is punching that ball up the middle the other way.
Hill waiting on deck for Arizona. Nice crowd today, Friday afternoon baseball. A lot of Angel fans, and I'm sure we have some D-back fans here.
Plenty of D-backs fans.
Yeah.
We were driving in this morning. The line was way backed up here.
Yeah.
For the parking lot for the hometown team, of course, the D-backs.
So CJ trying to get out of this inning. It's been a long one. Here's the next pitch. It's popped up. This should do it. The second baseman, Rutledge, a few feet back on the outfield grass. He's going to be called off last minute, and Navarro can't make the catch. Boy, that ball's got to be caught. Another run scores. It's 5-1. That ball was in the air so long that someone should have caught it. For the longest time, looked like it was going to be Rutledge, and then at the last moment, he peeled off, and Navarro couldn't quite get to it.
It was trouble right from the get-go. Whenever you have your infielders backpedaling, tough sky, it seemed like Rutledge had a tough time picking up the baseball, but certainly did not allow himself enough room to going back to then try to find the baseball, and the backpedaling causes all of this. Navarro had to come a long ways, and in general, this has been an ugly defensive inning for the Angels.
They're going to give Tomas a hit on it, although that ball should have been caught by someone. And here's the 9th batter of the inning, Aaron Hill, on the pitch. He takes it for a called strike. Only 2 of these 5 runs are earned against Wilson. Oh, and 1 to count. Here's the next pitch, and that is low. CJ's next delivery to Hill will be his 50th pitch of the game. Diamondbacks in this inning have scored 5 runs on only 3 hits. 1-1 pitch, and trying to hold up on that high fastball was Hill. He went around. 1-2. Today's game being brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts and CarQuest. Great people, great products, great prices. The count's a ball and 2 strikes. Infield back. Here's the next pitch, and that one didn't miss by much. Took something off that pitch. 2-2.
Looks like he tried running a 2-seam fastball back over the plate and took a lot off of it. You're right. Little BP fastball with some action. Just did not run back enough for Rob Drake to call it a strike.
The 2-2 delivery hit sharply down to third, off the chest to Kubica, and by the time he picks it up, no throw. Well, that's another ball right there that you got to make a play on that one. We'll see how it gets scored.
It's one of those innings. That's an error. I mean, you got to make a play there too. Yep, hitting is contagious, and at times, so is bat fielding.
So the Angels' second error in the inning. And now the 10th batter in the inning will be stepping up. And Evans, who led the inning off, bats for the second time here in the top of the second. Here's the pitch. He pops that one foul on the right side. It's backing out of play. Evans, who's had only 20 at-bats this spring with 5 hits for the D-backs. He was with them a little bit last year, 18 games. But the thing that's kind of amazing about him, he played in Japan and the big leagues a year ago. I mean, you don't see that happen.
No.
I mean, I don't know when the last time a player did that all in the same season. There's a pitch that's low and inside.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It was pretty unique, too.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a 5-1 Arizona lead. They've gotten all 5 here in this second inning. Next pitch. That's a slow one that's low. Blocked by Butera. Boy, Wilson has made a boatload of pitches here in this inning.
Yeah, Mike Socha's hope was that Wilson will get up at least 6 times. That's not going to happen here this afternoon.
No way.
Here comes pitch number 56.
CJ is set. Here it comes. Chopped down to third. Kubica stops this one. Has time and throws out the batter, Evans. So that's how the inning will end. And in the inning, they send 10 to the plate. 5 of them score. They had 4 hits. There were 2 errors in the inning. And in the inning, they wound up leaving a couple runners on base. Angels need some runs, trailing 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the second on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom of the second we go. It's 5-1 Arizona. Of the 5 runs the D-backs scored in the top of the inning, 4 of them end up being unearned. But that was not a good inning, and we were watching Angels manager Mike Scioscia between innings, and he was not a happy camper. He was kind of on the prowl in the Angels dugout over on the first base side.
Yeah, it's like, who am I going to go to first?
Here's the pitch. This one is chopped foul on the first base side. Kyle Kubica is the batter.
And that's where Mike is very consistent about playing the game right and cleaning things up, as he likes to say. Angels could be winning 10-2 right now, and he sees that same inning, and he's going to go out there and find out exactly what happened. A lot of miscommunication, some issues in positioning, not making plays, bobbling a couple balls, the guy on the mound not helping his cause, but it all goes together. You know what? It happens to the best of teams. Got to get over it.
0-2 is the count. And the next pitch, that one is low from Bradley. So the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I recall a time when the Texas Rangers stole 14 or 15 bases in a series in August a couple of years ago. You recall this?
Oh, yeah.
Mike Scioscia had the team working on that with the pitchers and catchers in August. Because, of course, you know, it was an embarrassment, really. Rangers just ran up and down, and next day, got to go to work. Early workout, everybody. Let's get this thing squared up. And that's what the Angels also out of contention.
Here's the 2-2. Lined the opposite way, and that's going to fall in for a base hit. So Kubica keeps swinging a good bat this spring. Player the Angels acquired from the Atlanta Braves this offseason. He's hitting over 300. He has a leadoff hit. Drew Butero will be the next batter. Fans, it's time to check the Ram Out of Town scoreboard, brought to you by the Ram 1500, Green Car Journal's 2015 Green Truck of the Year. Visit ramtrucks.com to learn more about the fuel-efficient Ram 1500. Florida Grapefruit League game that ended up going 5 innings because of rain. Toronto beat Detroit 4-1. Justin Verlander left that game with right triceps cramp.
Yeah, it's not good. He also brought an ERA over 6 to that game.
Gave up a home run in 2 2/3 innings.
Verlander actually, after the news was announced that David Price was going to be the opening day starter for the Tigers, that's kind of shock for Verlander. And he says, yep, I understand why I'm not getting it, but also made it very clear and subtle, Terry, that I plan on regaining that spot. So it does mean a lot to him.
Sure.
And it hurt that he didn't get the opening day assignment.
Gutierrez, the batter of the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Yankees shut out the Phillies today in Florida in the Grapefruit League 10-0. Pineda did a good job in that start. There goes Kubica in the pitch. That's line down the left field side. That one's tight to the line down in the corner. It's a fair ball. It smacks off the wall. Kubica was running on the pitch. He's going to be waved home. Here comes the throw, and he is out. Wow. Mike Scioscia is going to come out. The call was made by the first base umpire down by home plate, and boy, it didn't look like they had any chance to get Kubica, and he's called out there on that strong relay throw to the plate.
Oh, we got to look at the replay here. Obviously, if you're on the TV side, and look when the ball lands in the glove and then the block by the catcher. Not sure if it's clear enough, but certainly Mike Scioscia had a way and a reason to react that way as Ted Barrett came down, hustling down the line as the umpire.
Yeah, and the thing about it, we just saw the replay. He was in no position to make the call. I don't know that he was necessarily late. Everything happened so fast, but he was really just entering the batter's circle when he made that call. And that's why he might have made the wrong call. But in any case, it's an out. And the batter now for the Angels is Josh Rutledge.
It did look like Kubica knocked the legs off of the goal switch and moved him, even though he had come down and blocked the plate instinctively with a throw high.
Here's the next pitch, and that one pitch low. Not sure when Mike Scioscia went out there if he was coming out to argue the call or whether or not the catcher was blocking the plate. You could have argued either one.
On the last look, he looked safe. Now, the catcher can block the plate with the ball. The catcher cannot block the plate without the ball. So it's up to him, but he did have the baseball. He was entitled to block the plate.
Here's the 1-1. That's a liner, and it's caught by the shortstop, Ahmed. He will flip to second. Butera was on the move on that one, and the inning will end with a line-out double play. Butera easily doubled up off the bag at second base. That play will go 6-4 to end the inning. So the Angels in the inning had an odd inning, needless to say. The Angels had 3 batters bat. 2 of them had hits, but that's all the Angels end up sending to the plate, and no one scores. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, nobody left. We're headed to the 3rd inning right now. 5-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Jordan Pacheco takes ball 1 from C.J. Wilson as he leads off the 3rd inning, and the next pitch it's fouled back behind the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. 5-1 Arizona as we start the 3rd inning here at Tempe Diablo Stadium. I want to remind kids, the Junior Angels Kids Club now accepting members for the 2015 season. Members receive 4 ticket vouchers as well as exclusive gifts, including T-shirt, bracelets, socks, and more. We'll give you some more information on the Junior Angels Kids Club after CJ delivers, and now the batter Pacheco backs out of the box. Remember, if you're a member, you'll also receive access to front of the line for Kids Run the Bases if you're a member of the Junior Angels Kids Club. Here's a lazy fly ball lifted down the right field side. Efrain Navarro playing there today. He'll make the catch on that one, and that's the first out. Sign up today to become a Junior Angels Kids Club member. Just go to angels.com/Junior Angels.
An easier play for Efrain Navarro there as he's getting accustomed to, of course, the right field part of the outfield. He's played a lot of more left field, but also saw some miscommunication earlier with Josh Rutledge. And the one thing that really comes to mind to me, Terry, if Navarro called that ball in the air, that's a mistake.
There's a bouncer through the right side out of the reach of Rutledge. That's going to be a base hit. So Vucevic, the catcher, on for the 2nd time today. That is hit number 6 in the game for Arizona. And Nick Buss will be the next batter. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Terry Smith, Jose Mota, our producer engineer is Darren Chan, and the next delivery, that is a swing and a miss. 0-1 to count on Buss as Wilson has already thrown over 60 pitches here, working in his 3rd inning. Next next one, and that fastball inside. Infield at double play depth. The Angels committed 2 errors last inning, one by Ibar, one by Kubica. The left side of the infield had some trouble in the pitch. That one is fouled back. You also had the ball that ended up dropping in shallow right center where Rutledge went back. Navarro came in. No one able to catch that one. That second inning, that might have been the worst inning we've seen the Angels play all spring.
It was going to come.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, it was going to come. And there it is. And there it was.
Here's the pitch. High chopper. It's hit to Albert. Goes to the bag for 1. Throws to second for 2. And the inning is over. So, boy, things happen a lot faster in the top of the third than the top of the second. And it ends on the 3-6 double play. In the inning, no runs. They had a hit, no errors, and nobody left. Bottom of the third is next. It's 5-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels will send up the top of the order as we go to the bottom of the third. It's 5-1 Arizona. Ibar, Trout, and Pujols with that. Baseball fans, catch Luxor, Las Vegas's all-star lineup of shows. Play the field at LAX Nightclub. Visit Luxor.com. Ibar flied out to left field his first time up against Archie Bradley, who's working with a 4-run cushion here in the early going. Here's the first pitch. Right in there, called strike.
Well, Terry, at some point for this organization, Archie Bradley wants to be part of the solution. They've had 8 losing seasons in the last 11 years. Worst record in the majors last year. They lost 98 games. And from Dave Stewart, their new general manager, Antonio Barusa, and John Watson, they know the basis is pitching, and that's why they went out and got somebody like Jeremy Hellickson from Tampa Bay.
Counts 0-2. Here's the next pitch. Ibar with a little pop into shallow right field, breaking it hard, diving, unable to catch it as Bus. The ball rolls in front of him, and going back to scoop it up is Aaron Hill, the second baseman. It's a bloop single for Ibar. Angels have their 5th hit already in this game, and here's Trout.
It's good effort all the way around. Going back to the D-backs, of course, is the solid foundation. Hopefully better years, Terry, from Cahill. They're expecting big things from Alan Webster. Patrick Corbin coming in later. Bronson Arroyo coming in later. So it'll be a process of transforming all throughout, from the head honchos in the big leagues to even the scouting department.
Yeah, D-backs had a lot of injuries to starting pitchers last year, and one of the reasons that record was as poor as it was. They're only a few years removed from winning the NL West. 2011 season, they went 94-68. Toss over to first base. Ibar dives back.
I mean, consider their history. When they won that championship in 2001, that was a quicker championship by any expansion team in the history of baseball. They got there rapidly, from the creation to celebrating the ring.
There's a shot by Trout into left field. Low line drive single. Ibar moves up to second. So Trout is 2 for 2 today. Albert Pujols will step up, and boy, the way he's going with one swing of the bat, he could get the Angels right back in this ball game.
Leading the Angels in home runs and RBIs as Pujols. Trout continues to lead the world in hitting. One line drive after the other, every part of the field. Here's Albert. And, of course, he and his former manager, Tony La Russa, still enjoy a very good relationship. And one of the things that Tony pointed out to me before the game was, there's so many times in St. Louis where we were down, maybe getting blown out, 8th, 9th inning. Albert, first of all, did not want to come out of a game. And number two is he was the first guy on the dugout railing pulling for his guys. And it didn't matter if he was 3 for 4 or 0 for 5, made a couple of errors. He wanted to be in the game, and he was the first guy on that dugout step cheering his guys. And he says, to this day, he believes Pujols' influence on the young group that's thriving still is pretty much something to be considered and credited.
Here's the first one on Albert. Breaking ball in there, called strike.
Terry, and this is not a reporter or a journalist saying it. It's his former manager who's won multiple rings.
Yep, anybody should know it's Tony La Russa. No balls, 1 strike. Good speed on the bases. Here's the pitch, and that's low. Good block by the catcher. 1-1 the count. The Angels and the Diamondbacks will square off against each other in the regular season. And the two teams will play a total of 4 games. 2 of them will be at the Big A on the 15th and 16th of June, and then the 17th and 18th here in the Phoenix area. The pitch, that one is swung on and missed, so they'll play each other 4 straight ball games in mid-June. Angels playing teams from the NL West in interleague play this season, which will make it better from a travel standpoint, Jose.
Oh, absolutely.
Counts 1-2 on Pujols. Next pitch, a liner caught by Hill, flips to second late as Ibar got back, and Trout was hustling back to first base as well. Albert hit it hard, but caught by Hill. That's the first out.
That's a play, of course, you need to freeze, because if you don't, it's got triple play written all over it. See that happen in that type of line drive.
So now a little meeting going on, pitcher and catcher, and as they get ready to wrap it up, we want to remind you that Live Angels Baseball is back in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. So here is Matt Joyce, who took a called third strike his first time up. The pitch, low and outside.
Best pitches that Bradley has made to any part of the plate have been in the corners, and it was to this man right here in the first inning. Fastballs and breaking balls.
Bradley's pitch, and that one is in there, called strike. 1-1. This ball game is already over an hour old. We're in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Each team has 6 hits already in this game. There's a toss to second. Diving back goes Ibar. D-backs lead it 5-1. We're in the bottom of the third inning. Bradley has the sign. He's set to come in. Joyce awaits the 1-1 pitch. It's on its way. That's high and outside. 2-1. Angels will be in action tomorrow right here against the Dodgers. That's going to be Matt Shoemaker against David Huff. Sunday, the Angels will host the Cincinnati Reds. Here's the 2-1. And that's in there for a called strike.
He's hitting the spots on the breaking ball, and it happens to be again against Matt Joyce, who continues to shake his head.
Joyce did not have a good at bat his first time up, and now 2-2 on him here. Bradley's pitch. They sit up outside. The ball's lifted in the air into shallow left field. Coming in under, making the grab will be Evans, and the runners have to hold. That's out number 2. So Bradley's done a pretty good job here. He's given up 2 hits in all 3 innings, but he's minimized the damage.
He did a very good job there in the sequence of pitches against Matt Joyce. The breaking balls. Again, making him aware of the fastball early in his first at bat, and now making aware of the breaking ball here. This at bat, beat him with a fastball. With one of those contacts where it feels like a bowling ball you're hitting.
Archie Bradley, good arm, plus fastball, very good curveball, change and slider. There's a pitch that's in there for a called strike. It's 0-1 on Navarro, who has singled in the Angels' only run so far. That was back in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the 0-1. Lifted in the air into left field. Should be a routine play for Evans. He's under and put it away, and that's how the inning will end. Angels' first 2 batters had hits, but Angels unable to do anything after that. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 runners left. 4th inning is next. 5-1 D-backs on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. A.J. Pollock will lead off the top of the 4th for the D-backs. They lead the game 5-1, and Wilson's first pitch is high and away for a ball. It's 1 ball, no strikes. A big inning for Arizona. They got all the runs. That was in the top of the 2nd, and 4 of the 5 were unearned. The Angels had 2 errors in that inning and also misplayed a ball in shallow right field, right center. Pitch, chop, foul back behind the plate. 1-1 on A.J. Pollock. Pollock was in the same draft as Mike Trout back in 2009. He was actually selected higher than Mike Trout in that draft. 2-1 to count.
We can go down the list. Those how many players were selected before Mike Trout, including Randall Grichuk, who's having a good spring for the Cardinals.
Yep. There's a bouncing ball hit the third off the glove of Kubica. Recovers, throws, but it is in time. Wow. He got the call over there. It turned out to be a good job of recovering by Grichuk, or by Kubica, I should say. He had the strong throw there after that ball popped off his glove. Bang, bang play.
Terry, don't let me mess you up. He does have a very good arm, man. That was a pure exhibit right there. It reminds me of Troy Glassarm. Caleb Coward has that type of arm, too. Angels prospect, hoping that to rebound. Hope to see him here today, too. He's on the roster.
There's a wave and a miss by Ahmed. Fooled on that off-speed pitch for strike one.
Ken Caminiti type of arm, Terry. Remember that arm?
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Ken Caminiti. What a bazooka.
Next pitch on Ahmed. That one popped off the glove of Butera, but nobody on base, so it's 1 ball, 1 strike. C.J. Wilson now at 70 pitches today. And here's the next one. Check swing. Did he go around? Angels want an appeal. They do not get it, and it's called a ball. 2-1. It's 5-1 Arizona. The score update brought to you by Experian. Get your credit swagger on at Experian.com. Next pitch. This is bounced to short. Ibar fields cleanly. Has some time and gets it to first base for the second out. 2 quick outs. Mark Trumbo, the next batter for the D-backs.
The best hope right now for C.J. Wilson, be economical. Don't go deep into counts and pitch to contact. Think about C.J. Wilson as throughout his career. If you look at the numbers and the batting average against, is not where he really allows a lot of freedom to the opponent. The 240s, 250s, but then what happens obviously is because there's so many people on base, that one hit, the 1 for 4, the 2 for 8 ends up hurting him more.
Pitch on Trumbo. He takes that one, and the pitch got a piece of him. Hit by the pitch.
Well, the little wraparound breaking ball that C.J. Wilson shows Trumbo early in the count, as he has pretty much in every one of his 3 at-bats. This one got Trumbo. It appeared like in the front foot. And if it did, it was a back foot. And if it did hit him, I'd like to know how.
Yeah, he didn't really react like it did.
He's smiling.
I guess it was the back foot that they're saying he got struck on. So he's on, and here's a bouncing ball by Wilson and out of the reach of Rutledge. And that'll be a base hit to keep the inning alive. The single there by Tomas, his second hit of the game. They have runners now at first and second, and another inning where Wilson has to pitch with people on base. Aaron Hill will be the next batter. Hill is 0 for 2 today against C.J. Wilson. First delivery, and that's off speed, called strike on the outside corner. When the Angels bat in the bottom of the 4th, trailing 5-1. Green, Kubica, and Butera against Bradley. The bullpen remains quiet for the D-backs down the left side. Next delivery, that's in there. The Angels today are expected to use Houston Street and Joe Smith in relief, and the Angels also have a number of pitchers that are up from minor league camp.
And talking about minor league camp, also throwing for the Angels in the AAA game is Drew Ruzinski. And Mike Susha said this morning, scheduled for 5 innings or 75 pitches. Drew Ruzinski.
There's a pitch that is cut on and missed, and the inning is over on the strikeout. A little bit of indecision out there on the field, but Hill is retired on strikes for the second time today, and that will end the inning. No runs. They had another hit in the inning. The batter hit by a pitch, and they end up leaving 2 runners on base. Bottom of the 4th is coming up. The Angels down 5-1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. First batter up for the Angels, Grant Green, takes ball 1 from Bradley, and the next pitch, this one is lifted foul on the right side. It's going to get back and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Angels down 5-1. Green struck out his first time up, and he awaits the 1-1. Here it comes. He hits it sharply right to the shortstop. Ned has it, and he's in plenty of time for the first out. Bradley has retired the last 4 in a row. That's his longest string so far in this ball game. And here is Kyle Kibitza, the third baseman.
I'll give credit to Bradley as he continues to throw strikes, continues to use his defense, and has adjusted very well in pitching in the zone given today by Rob Drake, in and out, keeping the ball down.
First one on Kibitza. He lifts it in the air to right center field. Chasing after it is Buss, and the right fielder puts it away. 2 quick outs here in the Angels' 4th. Drew Butera will be the next batter. Fans, be sure to tune into the Rich Eisen Show weekday mornings on Angels Radio AM 830. Rich has great guests, topics daily. That's the Rich Eisen Show, 9 to noon, right here on Angels Radio AM 830 KLAA. Butera doubled his first time up. Here's the first pitch, and that one is in there for a called strike. When Butera got that double back in the bottom of the 2nd inning, on the play, a runner was thrown out at the plate. Kibitza, here's one line foul down the right side. It was only Butera's 4th hit this spring. He's gone 4 for 23, came into the game hitting just 136 here in the Cactus League.
He's very conscious of the fact that some things he knows he needs to improve. And that one of them is pitch selection, finishing off his swing, and also small issues behind the plate. Carlos Perez himself putting together a nice spring as a backup catcher for the Angels, and making sure Mike Scioscia doesn't forget about him.
One and 2 on Butera. Here's the next pitch. Cuts it that one, fouls it off on the right side, backing out of play. Diamondbacks winless in their last 4 games this spring, and the Angels have lost only 1 of their last 10 games coming in. There's one that's fouled off on the left side, and the count holding 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oakland A's have had a good spring. Their record is just percentage points better than the Angels.
Angels bullpen righty Nate Hyatt gets ready.
So we'll see if we see him when we get to the 5th. Here's the next one on Butera. Takes it a little bit low. That one didn't miss by much. 2-2. And the next delivery, it's chopped on an easy hop to third. Tomas has it. His throw is in time. And the Angels go down 1-2-3 here in the bottom of the 4th. No runs, hits, or errors, nobody left. 5th inning coming up. 5-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. C.J. Wilson is getting ready for his 5th inning. We'll see if he's able to complete it. He's already at 77 pitches. And the first batter he will be facing will be Nick Evans. This is his 3rd time up. Single and 2 at-bats against C.J. Here's the first pitch on the right-handed batter. He lifts it in the air to right center field. And that's going to drop in for a hit. Trout will have to play it in on a hop. So Evans' first ball swinging gets his 2nd hit. They have another base runner, and Jordan Pacheco will be the next hitter.
That was pitch number 78 for C.J. Wilson. Up 5 times, so at least in that respect, Mike Socha has been able to see him go to the mound 5 times.
Pacheco is a player that the D-backs have to make a call on. Signed a minor league deal. He's out of options. Kind of a super utility player. There's a pitch low. Today he's playing first base. He can catch. He can play 2nd and 3rd as well.
Decision times. Useful player for the National League, though, because he can help you in so many ways off the bench. Versatility, double switches, not corner to one position.
There's a pitch low and outside. Infield plays it at double play depth. Here's the pitch. Lifted foul right side. That's going to go back and out of play.
D-backs have announced their opening day starter. That'll be always reliable Josh Coleman, who served so many roles for them. So he'll be on the mound when they open up their season. Consider that last year's opening day starter was already shipped out to Boston. Wade Miley, lefty. As the D-backs try to restock. Counting on some guys like I mentioned earlier, like Alan Webster, Corbin coming in later, Bronson Arroyo, also Ruby De La Rosa in the Boston trade. Adding enough depth. They need a bounce back year, Terry, from Trevor Cahill, who really has not found his form. Pitching for the D-backs as the Trevor Cahill that we saw at times torment the Angels in the American League West with Oakland.
Cahill last year a 3-12 record, an earned run average of over 5.5. Here's the pitch, fouled off on the right side. That's going to sail back and out of play, so we'll do it again with the count 3-2.
Our general manager Dave Stewart believes that Jeremy Hellickson will find his form. And the issues affecting Hellickson the past season, Stewart believes, were all due to the bone chips that he suffered from, but seems to be throwing the ball well. The numbers don't say that for Hellickson here in spring training, but he is, as they say, free and loose. And we know he can pitch, man, with that plus changeup, decent fastball.
Hellickson won only one game last year in what turned out to be his final season with Tampa Bay, and pitched under 65 innings last season because of the bone chips in the right elbow. It's another pitch fouled off right side, out of play, so it's still 3-2 on Pacheco. Mentioned Coleman, opening day pitcher for the D-backs. We thought he was going to be pitching today against the Angels, and then they decided to have him pitch in their other game that's going on right now at Salt River Fields. They have another squad playing an Indian split squad. There's a ground ball. He's hit through the left side out of the reach of Ibar. So back-to-back singles here for the Diamondbacks to start off the 5th inning. They have had at least one hit in every inning against Wilson. 9 already in the game. Oh, you'll likely have a chance to talk to Mike Sochi after the ball game. It'll be interesting.
Maybe today we don't do that, Terry. Maybe today we give him a day off.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't have to talk to him after the 2nd inning down on the field, or I would have felt for you, Jose. He was not a happy camper. There's a pitch outside, but the thought is I'll be interested to hear his assessment of CJ's outing, because he's only allowed 1 earned run, but he's put himself in these pressure innings, inning after inning here today.
Well, you're going to hear from Mike Socha is the truth.
That's fouled back.
Still, Terry, the most memorable Mike Socha post-game interview I've done here in spring training is the one about asking him to one day, and I laugh, but it's, you know, not in spite of Weaver, but ask him about Jerry Weaver. Remember that? And he said, Jose, Weaver was terrible today.
Yeah, and, we've very rarely heard him use that word about one of his own players.
You're right.
Yeah. There's one that's low. 2-1 to count.
But I mean, we appreciate the access we always get. I mean, during games, giving us signs and anticipating plays every time we go down and talk to Mike during game action. We did some an interview in national TV yesterday, also during the game.
There's one popped up behind the plate. It's a foul ball, and it's playable. And Butera had it pop out of his glove, but he caught it the 2nd time. Yikes. That is out number 1. And Mike Socha is going to head out to the mound now, and that's going to be it for C.J. Wilson. The ball has been a hot potato for Angels fielders today, but luckily Butera was able to catch it on the 2nd attempt. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Farmer John. If you're tailgating under the Big A or watching the game at home, pick up Farmer John hot dogs, smoked dinner sausage. You get that authentic stadium taste anytime. Visit farmerjohn.com for recipes that are sure to be a home run. We get back, we'll fill you in on the new Angel pitcher. Wilson's day is done. Breaking the action, pitching change in the 5th. 5-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher is Nate Hyatt. And as he wraps up his warm-up tosses, he is going to pitch for the Angels for the first time this spring. The Angels got him along with Kyle Kubica from the Braves back in January in the deal where the Angels sent a good left-handed pitcher, young pitcher Ricardo Sanchez, to Atlanta. So here's Hyatt's first pitch, and that one is low on Nick Buss. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Hyatt has a good arm. His fastball will hit 98 miles per hour. He has a slider and a changeup. And when he was in the Braves organization, he was getting some comparisons to Craig Kimbrell.
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
That's always scary.
Yes, he was.
Well, he's got the arm. 165 strikeouts in just over 134 innings in the minor leagues. And with that, respectable only 65 walks.
2-0 pitch, and that fastball missed inside. 3-0. Of course, very well might have a little nervous energy out there. First time wearing an Angel uniform in a ball game this spring.
Dimension came over for with Kubica for a promising pitcher in Ricardo Sanchez last January.
Here's the 3-0, and that is a pitch that is nowhere close. It was low and inside, so ball 4, and that's going to load up the bases now for the D-backs with 1 out here in this top of the 5th inning. The numbers right now on C.J. Wilson: 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 9 hits, 5 runs, 1 earned. 2 of the 3 on base right now his property. Wilson walked 2, hit 1, struck out 3.
C.J. made 89 pitches.
So Hyatt needs an out. Here's Pollock batting, and the first pitch, that one misses, and that's going to get Buter out to the mound to have a word with him.
Veteran catcher trying to calm down the youngster. Just could barely pitch an A ball, 2 years an A ball consecutively. And I see as he tried to spin that breaking ball there, you can see the arm kind of let up and his mechanics a little out of sync and trying to almost guide that breaking ball right to the glove. It's all part of the system. It has happened to many great ones.
Pollock's had a hit and 3 times up, scored a run, driven in 2. Right-hander against right-hander, the pitch. That's in there. Called strike. 1-1. Friday afternoon baseball here from Tempe Diablo Stadium. Angels and Arizona Diamondbacks. Angels winding things down here in the Cactus League. There's a ground ball hit to short. Second for 1. Relay to first. It is in time to end the inning.
Got it done. Nate Hyatt.
There you go. Comes in, gets a double play ball, and now he can take a deep breath when he gets back to that Angel dugout on the first base side. 6-4-3 on the inning-ending double play. We're headed now to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 5-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Josh Rutledge at the plate for the Angels. Looks at an 0-1 pitch, and it's low and outside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Rutledge, Ibar, and Trout against Archie Bradley, who's pitching in his 5th inning now. It's 5-1 D-backs. Here's the next pitch, and that is low. It's 2-1.
Bradley's done a good job. Came into this game with a 2.38 ERA. And the ability to throw strikes is reflected here again. Only 2 walks and just over 11 innings coming into this game.
There's a bouncer hit right to short. The Med has it, and his throw will get Rutledge for the first out. So Bradley has set down the last 7 in a row. He was shaky in that first inning, but allowed only 1 run, and has really settled down since that first inning. Ibar the batter. Eric's had a 1-for-2 ball game. Bradley set. Here's the first pitch. That's high and outside. Trout's waiting on deck. He's had 2 more hits today. Here's the 1-0. Chopped on the first base side right at Pacheco, and he will easily beat Ibar to the bag. So 2 quick outs, 2 easy plays. And Mike Trout will be the next batter.
Ibar leading off. Terry, very special moment here before the game as Mike Scioscia and the Angels extend the invite to John Wilhite, lone survivor, and of course the tragic crash that killed Nate Adenhart, Henry Pearson, and Cordy Stewart, exchanging the lineup card, and Wilhelm has been an invited guest here. Former Cal State Fullerton player, enjoying a great time, he says, and he's a former teammate and roommate of Vinny Pistano.
There you go.
Along with also current Dodger Justin Turner. Got to play with Kurt Suzuki, so nice gesture there by the Angels organization for a guy that says he still lives and breathes baseball. John Wilhite.
He's been here since Monday as a guest instructor, and there's a big cut and a miss by Trout. 1 ball, 1 strike. Albert would be up next. 2 outs. Trout batting for the 3rd time today. Takes that pitch inside.
That looked like a hanging breaking ball coming out of his hand. Trout stayed right with it, but that ball broke in, and his numbers in spring continued to just get better.
Here's the next pitch on Mike, and that's inside and low again, so it's now a 3-1 count.
Trout also on his way to his MVP season, had a terrific spring training here last year. Off the charts numbers.
The 3-1 pitch, and he walks him. Pitch was outside and low. Trout has a 5-pitch walk. 3rd straight time he's gotten on base. Albert Pujols will step up. Albert is 0-for-1 today. He's been hit by a pitch. He's also lined out.
We saw Trout get that single in the 1st inning, and the best thing about it is he took off and stole the bag on the 1st pitch, which allowed Albert to go out there and work on some things before Albert got hit by a pitch. But hopefully we'll see that more this year too. Trout running early in counts.
And he draws a throw. He dives back to the bag. Trout has had 4 stolen bases this spring, and that is the most by any Angels player. Draws another toss and dives back safely.
Trout's leads have gotten better. A lot of instruction from Alfredo Griffin, Dino Ebel, on just not being afraid of getting picked off. Start with your lead and go from there.
Bradley is ready. Here's the pitch on Albert, and that's low and in. 1 ball, no strikes.
Establish your lead. You know they're going to be paying attention to you. The greatest base stealers know they're going to be paying attention to it, so that's no excuse to not run or steal. But also the great base stealers find something with a catcher, especially with a pitcher, that they know and indicate and tell him he's going home or here comes a right pitch to run on, even if the guy's fast to the plate.
Next one on Albert, and that is high and tight. And that backs him all the way out of the batter's circle. The catcher goes out that war with Bradley.
Pujols hitting that 1st inning, and here's a breaking ball that early, and then the fastball gets away from Bradley here. Don't forget, not long ago, the D-backs and the Dodgers had a bit of a beanball war here in spring training.
Yeah. when it happens in spring training, there's got to be some bad blood because normally the games aren't quite that intense. Those two teams have kind of developed a history in recent years. Here's the 2-0. Albert lifts one way up in the air on the left side. The shortstop Ahmed is on the outfield grass. It's way up there. He'll make the catch on that one, and that will end the inning. So pretty quiet bottom of the fifth for the Angels. No runs, hits or errors, a walk, and one runner left. Moving on to the sixth inning, it's still 5-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Sixth inning here in Tempe, 5-1 D-backs. Angels closer Houston Street will be coming in to work the sixth inning. He replaces Nate Hyatt. The young pitcher got the final 2 outs behind C.J. Wilson last inning. And the call to the bullpen, it's brought to you by Farmer John. If you're tailgating under the Big A, watching the game at home, pick up Farmer John hot dogs, smoked dinner sausage. You get that authentic stadium taste anytime. Visit farmerjohn.com for recipes that are sure to be a home run. So here is Ahmed. This is his 4th time up. Street is set, and the first pitch. That's outside. It misses ball 1. Houston Street this spring. Appearing in his 5th game, he's worked 3 2/3 innings, allowing 3 hits, 1 earned run.
And don't be alarmed. It is his program that has worked effectively for many years.
There's one on the outside corner called strike.
So when you hear 3+ innings, you go, what? Thing is, you see Street, who also came in and gave Mike Scioscia and Mike Butcher his program, and coming in the middle of games, which is also very important.
Yeah, this is his first spring training with the Angels. The Angels got him in season a year ago. Pitch is fouled off on the right side, backing out of play.
So it was not a case of this is how we do it here. It was a case of how can we make it work for both? Here's what I've done in the past. Let's make it work. Well, usually you go on the player's side.
Next pitch popped in the air into left field. Coming hard is Green. Now he's under it and make the catch toward the line and fairly shallow left. That's out number 1.
Terry, we talked about the special moment with John Wilhite here, the invited coach. But how about 90-year-old lady that gets her wish granted by getting the Mike Scioscia autograph? How beautiful is this, huh?
Yeah.
Now look at the reaction. I mean, if you're watching on TV, this is priceless. This is absolutely beautiful.
It brought tears to her, and she had a poster saying, "I'm 90 years old. All I want is a Mike Socio autographed baseball, and wish granted."
It's one of those moments we can really never take for granted here, as we are sitting in the booth and understanding how much it means to people in the stands, what those guys represent down on the field. Man, that was pretty cool.
Here's the pitch. Here's Trumbo lifting one high in the air into left field. Backpedaling a little bit is Green. He's underweighting, and he will put that one away. That was a towering out there to left field.
It was a Trumbo shot.
Yeah. So 2 gone. Tomas will be the next batter. This Arizona club, they will be playing a game this Sunday in Mexico. And they'll have a split squad game against the Rockies. They'll play one game against the Rockies at their here in Arizona, and they'll play another game against the Rockies on Sunday in Mexico.
Well, they've done it in the past, and they expand their brand fairly well south of the border. The Angels have played games down in Mexico, an exhibition. And next for Major League Baseball, be ready. Games in Cuba are going to return. Exhibition games.
Street has jumped in front. It's 0-2 here on Tomas, and the next pitch, that's low and outside.
Teams used to stop regularly in Cuba to train and play exhibition games.
Well, there a number of years back, there was a minor league team in Cuba that played in the International League.
And here's Yasmani Tomas out of the island.
Here's the next delivery. This one is bounced back to the mound. It's stopped there by Street, and this throws him plenty of time to get Tomas in. It's a quick, clean inning for Houston. Street. Didn't throw a whole lot of pitches here in the top of the 6th. We're going to the bottom of the 6th as we head there. It's 5-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We get ready to move to the bottom of the 6th inning. New pitcher in the ball game, Matt Reynolds. And the lefty's first pitch is a ball to count 1 ball, no strikes. Reynolds replacing Bradley. We'll give you his numbers in his 5 innings of work in just a moment. Here's the next one on Matt Joyce, and it's skied in the air into left center field, not deep at all. Coming in and making the catch out there is the left fielder, Nick Evans, and that's the first out. So 1 away. Pitching change here in the bottom of the 6th, sponsored by Irvine Auto Center, where it's March Markdown Madness time. Huge markdowns in every Irvine Auto Center store. Shop online at irvineautocenter.com or come visit them where the 5 meets the 405 at Lake Forest Drive in Irvine. So the next batter for the Angels, Daniel Robertson. He is going to pinch hit for Matt Joyce. So Joyce, or for Efren Navarro, I should say. And here's the pitch. That one is outside for ball. The count 1 ball, no strikes. Angels get a right-handed batter in there against the lefty. And the next delivery, that one is low. 2-0.
I see Mike Swisher use this a little bit more going on matchups, according to what the bullpen is offering. Recently pinch hitting Grant Green, also for Navarro.
Here's the next pitch, and that's in there for a called strike.
Now Daniel Robertson gets a chance coming off the bench. Get a chance to be seen by the staff, whether you're at bats.
Next delivery, it's a little pop into shallow left. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Shortstop Ahmed went back and couldn't quite reach it. So Robertson has a 1-out single. Angels have a base runner.
He's got a smile after that. That was a check swing over the shortstop's hand. That really proves to you that once that barrel crosses, man, anything could happen. Big smile over there at first base, and his teammates giving a little rattling noise from that dugout. Terry, a hit is a hit is a hit, even when you stop your swing.
Here's the next batter for the Angels, Grant Green, and he takes the pitch outside for ball. The changes for the Diamondbacks, besides the pitcher, Matt Reynolds, they have a new third baseman, Danny Worth, is playing a third as Tomas has left. And there's a pitch taken for ball 2. It's 2-0. And then they've changed up the outfield a little bit. Nick Buss, who is in right field, has moved to center. And Zach Borenstein, former Angel farmhand, is now in right.
Hey, one-time Angels prospect. Tremendous year in single A a couple years back for Borenstein.
Here's a bouncing ball hit behind second. Diving stop by the second baseman. The flip is in time to Ahmed, who actually caught the flip barehanded. That was a nice play by Hill and Ahmed as they get the out on Robertson. It'll be a fielder's choice for Grant Green. Out number 2.
Looked like Grant Green's only hope at one time was for that ball to go out there and hit the bag and maybe bounce off of it. But great play off the middle, starting with 1 out, and also the barehand play by the shortstop picking it up. Outstanding.
So the batter now is Kubica. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Archie Bradley, their starter, went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, a run earned, walked 1, struck out 2, and hit a batter. And there's a swing and a miss by Kubica. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Kubica taking again, and that one misses, so the count's even. It's now 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt Reynolds, who's on the hill, is on the comeback trail. He did not pitch last year after having Tommy John elbow surgery back in September of 2013, and there's a pitch that's missed. 1-2 the count. Reynolds fastball. He's not a hard thrower, but he's a guy who is always known to have kind of a rubber arm. Curve, very good split finger pitch. He likes to use that against right-handed batters. Next delivery, and that one is a pitch that misses. 2-2.
Joe Smith getting ready also for the Angels. Yeah, he'll pitch after the very happy Houston Street. He made a play, 1-3.
In the top of the inning. And there's a swing and a miss by Kubica as he goes down, struck him out. Looked like he gave him the splitter there, and that'll end the inning. So for the Angels, not much happening. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left. 7th inning is coming up, still 5-1 D-backs on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels make a few changes as we get ready for the 7th inning. Joe Smith is the new pitcher. Angels fans, get your red on. Make plans to be at the Big A on April the 2nd and 3rd for the Freeway Series matchup against the Dodgers. First pitch for both games will be at 7:05. Purchase your tickets today at the Angels Stadium ticket office or online at angels.com. You can also buy tickets. Just call 714-4-ANGELS. And the top of the 7th, it's being brought to you by Roto-Rooter. Leaky pipes, clogs, backups, bad water heater. Call Roto-Rooter at 1-800-GET-ROTO and away go troubles down the drain. So the first batter that Joe Smith will face will be Aaron Hill. Houston Street worked the top of the 6th inning and retired 3 in a row, a couple flyouts and a ground out. So Smith's first pitch, that one is cut on and missed by Hill for strike 1. The Angels changes. Daniel Robertson will stay in the game and move to right field. Efren Navarro has left the game. There's one that's chopped foul by the plate. Chad Hinshaw is now in left field. Grant Green, who was in left, takes over at first base for Albert Pujols. And Joe Smith is on the mound. Mike Trout's still in the ballgame. He's out there in center field. Counts 0-2 on Hill. Joe Smith ready, and the pitch. That one is waved at and missed. He chases that pitch, struck him out.
That is pretty much what we've seen from Joe Smith all spring, and glad he got over that back tightness. But throwing strikes, reception, movement, a couple different sliders. We'll see the real tight one, just a little faster. Sometimes we'll see him spin one a little bit slower. He's certainly fun to watch. And very comfortable now in his role, the setup guy.
So here is Nick Evans, who's 2 for 3, and the pitch, and that is a called strike on the outside corner. We'll check out the Dodge Out of Town scoreboard in just a moment. It's brought to you by the 2015 Dodge Challenger. Cars that were meant to be driven. Go to Dodge.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about exciting offers now available. There's one that's high and away, and the count 1-1. Cactus League, Oakland has a 2-1 lead against Texas. That's in the top of the 7th. The A's announced that Josh Reddick will miss the first 5 games of the upcoming regular season. Here's a ball hit well into left center field. It's going to take a bounce, hit off the wall out there, and cruising into second base with a 1-out double will be Evans. That ball kept going out there in left center field.
There's been some solid balls hit today by the D-backs on some mistakes made by the Angels pitchers up in the zone. This is one of those too.
Mention that injury to Josh Reddick of Oakland will be sidelined when the season begins. It's a right oblique strain.
He's had some issues in the past.
Cubs and White Sox are playing today in Mesa. They're in the 7th inning. Cubs lead that game 6-2. And the Cubs have hit 4 home runs in that game.
Uh-oh.
But Bryant has not hit one of them. Castro, Rizzo, Coughlin, and Soler.
Interesting now that Chris Bryant is getting some reps in left field.
Yeah.
Huh?
Interesting to see if that turns out to be the position he might see some action in his rookie season, if this turns out to be his rookie season.
And as solid as his bat has been thundering here in spring training, he's still a work in progress defensively, and he knows it.
Here's the next one on Pacheco. That's lined into left center field. That's going to drop in, and that's going to get the runner home. So RBI hit by Pacheco, and the D-backs add on. First time they've scored since the 2nd inning, but they lead it 6-1 here in the 7th.
Well, they're more than ready. Pacheco on base now 3 times, a walk and 2 singles. Mike Trout, tip my hat to you, because he rounded that baseball and really stopped that runner from even thinking coming out of the box of going to second base all by. First step, instinct, getting behind the baseball and firing away. Made a mistake earlier in the game on overthrowing a cutoff man, allowing a runner to move from the batter's box all the way to second base. And that's just good alert baseball.
Catcher Gosewich is at the plate, and the first pitch on him is strike. Right-hander against right-hander. Toss over to first base. Diving back to the bag goes Pacheco. Pacheco, who just drove in that run, he's been a tough out today. On base 3 the 4 times up, scoring a run, driving in a run. Next pitch, check swing, a little ball popped on the first base side. Nice play by Grant Green to make the catch on that one. He was holding the bag, and then he had to race off the bag towards the second base area, makes the catch.
So you come from the outfield, you're used to seeing balls in the air, and your reach gets better. That's a good wingspan there by Grant Green.
Out number 2, Nick Buss will be the batter. Here's the pitch. It's hit well in the right center field. Chasing after that one is Robertson. That ball is out by the wall and off it. Trout falls down, so Robertson has to get the ball. Another run is going to score, and at third base with a triple is Buss, and now it's 7-1 Arizona. They've hit some balls hard in this inning off of Joe Smith.
They have strikeout and then double single F3 in this ball. Once again, catching too much out over the plate. Very little movement. And see the Diamondbacks hitters doing a good job crowding the plate a little bit more here against Joe Smith, and had not allowed that sinker to get its downward action and the slider to be a little bit more flat.
So Borenstein is the batter. Mentioned he just came in last inning, and he's hitting out of the leadoff spot, Pollock's spot. Borenstein 15 home runs last year in the D-back system. Former Angel farmhand, and the pitch, he was jammed on that one, cuts at it, and the left-handed batter fouls it back. He's only had 3 at-bats for the D-backs this spring with no hits. One ball, one strike to count. Here's the next pitch, and that is in there for a called strike. One and 2 on Zach Borenstein. Angels traded him to the D-backs in the trade for Joe Thatcher last season. There's one that's fouled off on the left side.
It's unfortunate, but Joe Thatcher just did not pan out for the Angels. Things didn't work out for an ankle injury. And as much as he could have been a factor, he was not.
Borenstein, the Arizona batter, the Angels minor league player of the year in 2013, cuts at that pitch and misses it, struck him out, and that will end the inning. A couple of strikeouts for Joe Smith, but he also gives up 2 runs on 3 hits. And in the inning, no errors. They will leave 1 runner on base. 7th inning stretch time. Angels need some runs, down 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 7th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. set to move to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 7-1 Arizona, and Randall Delgado has come in to take over on the mound. And his first pitch, that one is in there for a called strike. Mark Thomas is the new catcher. And we'll check and see if they've made any other moves here as the pitch is taken for ball. It's 1 ball, 1 strike on Butera, who's gone 1 for 2. Pitching change here in the bottom of the 7th. It's being brought to you by the Irvine Auto Center's March Markdown Madness. Here's the 1-1. Low. I want to remind you, over 5,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. Huge markdowns all month long. Shop online at IrvineAutoCenter.com. Visit them where the 5 meets the 405 at Lake Forest Drive in Irvine. Here's the next pitch. That's outside. 3-1 the count.
And you saw Delgado earlier in spring training. He was dominant through 3 innings. He's had a good spring himself. ERA of 1.80.
Here's his 3-1 pitch. And this one is fouled back behind the plate. So full count, 3-2. Delgado last year 4-4 in 47 games, 4 starts with Arizona. ERA was 4.87. Native of Panama.
When he has that breaking ball under control, it's pretty nasty because he does have a very live arm. And at times, of course, erratic.
Next delivery, and that one is cut on, and a foul tip held by the catcher Thomas, and Butera is a strikeout victim. There's one away here in the bottom of the 7th.
And there it was. Breaking ball. He takes a lot off of it. He's got a lot of body movement, moving parts, and really slows his body down sometimes, throw the breaking ball to get it under control, and that's why sometimes he tips it.
So the next batter for the Angels is Rutledge, and the pitch is a ball. Rutledge has hit the ball twice to short, once in the air, a line out double play. He's also grounded out to short. Pretty quiet day offensively for the Angels. The Angels actually scored the game's first run, and that was in the bottom of the 1st, and since then 7 unanswered runs for the D-backs. Here's the next pitch in there for a called strike. Angels a run, 7 hits. Arizona 7 runs, 12 hits. 1-1 pitch. Chopped on the third base side. Worth is playing there now, and the throw, it is in time. Ball dug out over at first base.
Pacheco does a good job digging that one out. Sinker ball action on that one. On the 5-3 there by Worth as he throws it. Smooth hands at first base.
So 2 quick outs. Alex Yarborough is the batter for the Angels. He's batting out a Ibar spot, and the first pitch that's in there for a called strike. We've seen Yarborough a little bit this spring, and here's the next delivery. He swings at that one, fouls it off on the left side. It's backing out of play. Yarborough 4 for 16 with the Angels. That's a .250 batting average.
Lefty Cesar Ramos gets ready for the Angels. Veteran lefty.
Here's the next one on Yarborough, and that is high, 1-2. Ibar, who left the game, the leadoff man for the Angels today, went 1 for 3. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled off left side, backing out of play.
Another young Angel, somebody that we got used to seeing in camp here the last 2 years. Caleb Cowart is on deck, and he'll hit Mike Trout's spot as of right now.
One time, Cowart, arguably the top-rated position player in the Angels organization, but his stock has dropped in recent years. Here's the 1-2, and that is a called third strike. It freezes. Yarborough struck him out. Looked like a pretty good changeup there, and that's how the inning will end. So a pair of strikeouts for Delgado and a quiet 7th for the Angels. No runs, hits, or errors. Nobody left. The 8th inning is next. Diamondbacks up on the Halo 7-1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. inning is right around the corner. The Angels have made a lot of changes as we go to the top of the 8th. It's being brought to you by Chronic Tacos Mexican Grill, using third-generation recipes packed with your favorite fresh ingredients. That's Chronic Tacos. For a location near you, go to eatchronictacos.com and live the taco life. Cesar Ramos is pitcher number 5 of the day for the Angels. Alex Yarbrough stays in the game. He's at second. Eric Stamets is the shortstop, and Caleb Coward is the new third baseman. And here's one bounce to Coward. He fields it cleanly, and his throw is in time to get Nick Ahmed. That's the first out.
There's that arm. We talked about it. Boy, when he plants, man, he fires away.
Angels outfield look has changed up a bit. Trout no longer in the game, so Daniel Robertson, who is playing right, takes over for Trout in center. Chad Hinshaw, who is playing left, moves over to right field where Robertson had been playing, and Mark Krause is now the new Angel left fielder. And the first pitch from Ramos here, a ball.
Even though Ramos hasn't seen action here lately in some A games, he did pitch recently in a morning game out in the backfields, getting the arm built up.
Colin Bray is the batter, switch hitter batting right, and he pops the ball to shallow right center, and going back is Yarbrough to retire him. So that's the second out. Bray was just pinch hitting for Mark Trumbo.
Nice job, Alex Yarbrough. No backpedaling, just went out, took some big steps, opened up, gave himself a chance by taking the right angle, making it easy on himself and on the outfielders.
Danny Worth is batting for the first time. He replaced Tomas at third base, hitting out of his spot, and the pitch is in there for a strike. Tomas went 2 for 3 with a run batted in.
Still looks to me, Terry, like Yasmani Tomas is not ready for the big leagues. It's my opinion.
Well, they certainly have a lot invested in him, but you don't want to rush him necessarily if the feeling is that he needs a little seasoning. He's right from Cuba. He's never played in the U.S. until this spring. 1-1 pitch. Worth cuts to that one, fouls it back behind the plate.
Had a chance to spend some time yesterday in the minor league camp with Roberto Baldoquin, who in fact was a direct beneficiary of Yasmani Tomas's status.
His workout, right?
Because he was pretty much a companion with Tomas throughout the showcases, and before you know it, there's scouts asking about who's a young infielder. And Baldoquin's the first one to tell you that without Tomas getting exposed and showcased, he probably would not have signed a professional contract. So the Angels signed Baldoquin, and of course he says, I'll forever be thankful to Yasmani Tomas, who is of course a good friend.
2-2 the count here on Worth. Last pitch was a close one. He got the call, and here's a breaking ball that one is bounced foul over on the left side.
We hope to see Baldoquin hopefully some action here, a couple of innings or before the camp is over, but he's a guy that has commanded a lot of respect immediately because of his work habits in minor league camp, and it seems like the Angels will have him start in single A this year, just like the Angels did with Kendrys Morales years back, and then see how he progresses and continue to move him up.
2-2 pitch, that's high, and now it's a full count. Ramos, who's pitching, is in his 7th game this spring. 6 innings coming in, allowing 5 hits, 2 runs. Joe Smith, the last Angel reliever in the 7th inning, was touched for 3 hits, 2 earned runs in 1 inning. No walks. He did strike out a pair. So full count here with 2 outs. 7-1 Arizona in the 8th, and the pitch high pop into shallow right field. Hinshaw is out there. He will make the grab, and that's how the inning will end. So a good 8th inning for Cesar Ramos. No runs, hits, or errors, nobody left. Bottom of the 8th is next. 7-1 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. we go, and it's being brought to you by Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana, the #1 Chevrolet dealer in California. Rotolo Chevrolet is pursuing excellence every day, so visit them at Rotolo.com. Caleb Cowart will lead things off for the Angels as Delgado continues to work for Arizona. This will be his second inning. Cowart, a left-handed batter, and the first pitch, that one is in there for a called strike. This is his first at-bat this spring with the Angels, a non-roster player. He was a switch hitter at one time, no longer doing that. And the pitch, swing and a miss.
And as you mentioned, his stock has gone down because of the fact that he has had trouble at what they call the make it or break it level, which is AA. Still young enough that, you know, he can, with his talent, hopefully put it all together and give the Angels more to think about and rebound.
Here's the next pitch, and he thought about chasing that, lays off, but he hit just .223 last year at AA Arkansas. Angels first round pick, 18th overall back in the 2010 draft. He has speed. He had a lot of stolen bases last year, but you got to get on base, and there's a swing and a miss. He chased a high fastball, struck him out. There's one gone here in the bottom of the 8th. Cowart had 26 stolen bases last year. So the batter now for the Angels
is Roberto Baldoquin.
There you go. I was going to say this is not Hinshaw, so Baldoquin is going to pinch hit for Hinshaw.
Think about how special this is for Baldoquin. He gets to make his debut in an A game against the D-backs, and Yasmani Tomas was here playing today. Think about that.
The pitch, and he lifts one high and hits it deep into left field, and you can kiss it goodbye. Out of here, home run. So a pretty good start for the young Cuban. His first at bat this spring for the Angels, and it was a no-doubter.
Special moment becomes even bigger for him. Memorable. Just a few months ago, he did not even know what his future held. If he was going to be stranded in Dominican and Haiti without a job, just dreaming. But boy, they signed him to a hefty contract, and what a moment for Roberto Baldoquin.
So at the plate now is Matt Joyce. He's gone all the way as the DH, and this is his 4th time up. As the count go 0-1 on him. And here's the next pitch. That one a little bit low.
Makes me wonder what Yasmani Tomas's reaction will be when he hears this. But boy, many hugs around for a young kid that was stranded, in fact, in Haiti just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. For 8 days in a hotel room where he could not get out, couldn't get a paper printed. That's what happened. One paper could not get printed, and that had him stranded in a hotel room in Haiti for 8 days.
2 balls and 1 strike to count. Delgado is set. Here's the next pitch. That is low, and now he's fallen behind 3-1 on Joyce.
And Baldoquin, Terry, does it out of the number 3 spot. How about that?
Yeah. It was Albert's spot when the game began.
It's been a hot spot for the Angels here this spring.
Here's the next one. It's bounced back to the mound off the glove of Delgado. Recovers, has time, and Joyce will be an easy out. So 2 are gone here in the bottom of the 8th. Daniel Robertson will be the next batter.
As you mentioned, Terry, no doubter by Baldoquin. Turn and burn. Angels know he's got the ability to play the middle infield. They see a feature with him at second base or at shortstop. And they like the way that his bat plays. Good gap-to-gap power. A very solid, fundamental approach to hitting. We saw it on display very quickly there. And then it comes against a guy that the Angels have just not been able to touch here this spring. And the guy on the mound, Delgado.
Yeah. Counts 0-1 here on Robertson. We have 2 outs, bottom of the 8th, 7-2 Arizona. Here's the next pitch, and that is low and outside. We'll see if Baldoquin goes out to play in the field. He can play third base, shortstop, second base. We'll see if he's out there somewhere when we get to the top of the ninth. Here's the 1-1, and that's a breaking ball of beauty. A called strike 1 and 2. Baldacchini's home run here in the bottom of the 8th. The only homer hit today, and 20 hits between the two teams. And the 1-2, that is low and outside, 2 and 2. Tomorrow, right here at Tempe Diablo Stadium, Angels and Dodgers. And the 2-2 pitch. Grounded on the first base side, just foul.
Always excited to see Angels-Dodgers, that rivalry that exists. And we saw at the game over in Glendale at Camelback Ranch how intense things get quickly. It's almost like a regular season game on the field, and also with the fans in the stands, blue and red.
Angels playing the Dodgers, as we mentioned, tomorrow right here, and then 3 times next week back in Southern California, next Thursday and Friday at the Big A, and then next Saturday, April the 4th at Dodger Stadium. Angels will have Sunday the 5th off, and then the regular season kicks off in Seattle with a day game on Monday, April the 6th. Angels have Matt Lindstrom up in the bullpen. Here's the 2-2. Hard hit right to third. Worth is right there, and his throw right on the money, and the inning is over. Angels do get a run, and the young man from Cuba, Roberto Baldacchini, his first at bat as an Angel, a home run. That was the only hit, no errors, and nobody left. Ninth inning is coming up. It's 7-2 Arizona on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. We go to the ninth inning, 7-2 D-backs. Fans MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. So the batter is going to be Michael Freeman, and the new pitcher is Matt Lindstrom. And here's a bouncer right back to Lindstrom, and one pitch, one away. Freeman was batting for Aaron Hill. Nick Evans will be the next batter. The Angels have a new right fielder. Kentrell Davis is playing right field, seeing his first action this spring with the Halos.
There's 4 right fielders this game.
The pitch. Here's a high drive lifted into center field. Robertson is going back, still going back, and he's not going to be able to get to it. The ball drops to his side, and stopping at second is Evans. Robertson got a little bit confused going back on that ball and never really got to it.
Seems like Robertson played a lot of the persistent wind that, of course, we see on the display here, but there's no wind, and he took off like the ball's going to be over his head. But it was not the distance alone, but just the direction, because this ball, in terms of direction, looked catchable. And again, it's not the easiest skies here, so
yeah.
A little trouble, but we've seen him have a little bit of trouble also on some balls hit near him in past games.
So the batter is Pacheco. Evans, who just got that double, that's his 4th hit of the day. He had only 4 hits all spring. That was the guy we told you about last year, played for the D-backs a little bit, and he also played in Japan a little bit last season. Here's the pitch, and that is a strike on the outside corner. Pacheco's been on base a lot, 3 of the 4 times he's batted. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Angels today 13-8 and lead it 7-2 here in the 9th. Lindstrom is pitcher number 6 of the day for the Angels, and there's one lifted foul and out of play against them.
Angels need to make a decision with Matt Lindstrom before March 31st, and his numbers are an indication of the fact that he has not pitched very well. Hoping that his experience as a veteran and the fact that he's healthy will allow him to get out of the funk. He's coming off a very tough outing. We are already coming to this game with 13.50, 8 hits allowed in 4 2/3.
There's a pitch that misses low and outside, 1-2. Lindstrom only pitched 34 innings last year with the Chicago White Sox. He spent most of last season on the DL. There's a pitch that's low and outside. Good stop by the catcher. 3-2 the count. Gutierrez has gone all the way behind the plate today. Angels only have one other catcher listed today, and it's a young player from the minors, Brian Gilda, who has yet to appear in today's game. Here's the 3-2, and that one bounces away. That's going to be ball 4, and it's going to get the base runner over to third base. Will be scored a wild pitch, and the walk to Pacheco is now on base for the 4th time today.
This one truly got away. Just a tight slider. A tough spin and overthrown there. And the reaction from Gutierrez, of course, on that pitch coming that fast, not as quickly as not going to be able to read the spin or even gauge the speed. When it's coming that fast, to square your body up.
So Lindstrom in some trouble here. 2 on, runners at the corners, 1 out. The batter is Thomas. Mark Thomas, who came in to catch for Arizona late in this ball game, and he takes ball 1. It's 1 ball, no strikes. This is the first at bat of the day for Thomas. Here's the next pitch. Popped in the air on the first base side. The right fielder Davis in foul ground. Very shallow. He'll make the grab. Fires the ball toward the plate. Keeps the runner at third base. Nice play by Kentrell Davis on that shallow pop on the right side in foul territory.
Good job by the youngster. Getting to the ball quicker. Getting his feet set. And putting enough on that throw. In another situation, I probably would have seen the D-backs challenge him as he comes into the game, the minor league player.
Davis was a player the Angels signed in the offseason. He was a former first-round pick of the Brewers back in 2009, Kentrell Davis. Played in Double-A last year. 5 games with Milwaukee in 2013. There's one fouled off on the Left side by Nick Bass out of play. 0-1 the count. So the infield is back with 2 outs. Still runners at the corner. 7-2 D-backs in the 9th. And there's a pitch in there on Buss. 0-2 the count. When we get to the bottom of the 9th, the Angels have Green, Krause, and Butera slated to bat. Here's the pitch. It's lined down the right field side, and it'll drop foul. That would have been trouble right there. Just a foul ball, though. It's 0-2. We were wondering if Mike Scioscia would put Baldacchini, who came in and got the pinch hit homer in the bottom of the 8th inning, if he would put him in the field. He did not, so Baldacchini is no longer in the ball game.
He'll remember the at-bat. Does not have to feel a ground ball or worry about the sun and sky with a fly ball. So memorable first at-bat as an Angel.
Here's the pitch, and that's a called third strike. It nips the inside corner. Bustin like the call. He's out looking, and the inning will end. So Lindstrom pitches out of some trouble here in the 9th. No runs, a hit, a walk, no errors, and they end up leaving a pair. Bottom of the 9th is next. Angels trailing Arizona 7-2 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. So the Angels have one more shot as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. And Grant Green leads it off. Delgado's still in there. This is his 3rd inning of work. Green has gone all the way for the Angels. He's changed positions during the course of the game. This is his 4th at bat. He's looking for his first hit, and he takes that pitch for a strike. 1-1 the count. Randall Delgado set, and the 1-1 lifted in the air into right field, but it's hanging up for Borenstein, and a former Angel farmhand will put that one away. There's one gone here in the bottom of the 9th. Mark Krause will be the batter. We haven't seen Krause in action until today. He had been sidelined for several days because of some back issues, but in the times we've seen him earlier this spring, he has been swinging a good bat. 9 hits, 7 RBIs, and 18 times up. 500 batting average. He's pretty much in a battle with Efren Navarro for a spot on the Angels opening day roster. And the pitch, he takes it for a strike, 0-1. Krause kind of reminds you of a left-handed hitting version of Mark Trumbo we saw earlier today with the D-backs. And the next delivery, there's one in there for a called strike. It's 0-2 on Krause. Angels have Brian Hernandez waiting on deck to pinch hit for Drew Butera. Here's the 2-strike pitch, and that is waved at and missed, and no contest there. Krause, a strikeout victim on 3 pitches. So Delgado racks up strikeout number 5 since coming into the game. He is 1 out away from getting a 3-inning save in this ball game. And the batter will be Brian Hernandez. Butera, the batter he's hitting for, Drew Butera, went 1 for 3 in the first pitch of ball. The count 1 ball, no strikes on Hernandez, who we've seen just briefly this spring. 2 at-bats, no hits. Right-hander against right-hander. And here's the next pitch. That's low and outside. Jose is headed downstairs to get ready for post-game duties. He'll be chatting with Angels manager Mike Scioscia at the conclusion of today's game. Here's the next one on Hernandez, and that is taken for a strike. So it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Hernandez played college baseball at UC Irvine as he fouls that one off on the right side, backing out of play. Young man who was born in Van Nuys, lives in Sylmar, and went to high school in Southern California. 27th round pick of the Angels back in the June 2011 draft. He was with Inland Empire in Arkansas a year ago. Mostly, though, at AA Arkansas, where he hit .308. Lines that one foul on the right side back to the seats. That had some fans ducking for cover. 2-2 the count. Hernandez drove in 70 runs last season in the minors, hit 9 homers, and the 2-2 lines another one foul on the right side, backing out of play. Eric Stamets would be the next batter if the game continues. Angels are down to their final strike today here with Arizona up 7-2, bottom of the 9th. And the 2-2 delivery. That one is high off speed. Full count, 3-2. Tomorrow, Matt Shoemaker gets the baseball for the Angels. He'll be making his 4th start this spring. He'll face the Dodgers. Hernandez backs out of the box. Delgado's given up only 1 hit since coming in. That was the Baldacchini homer, and there's a swing and a miss. Breaking ball gets Hernandez, struck him out, and that will end the ball game. So a quiet bottom of the 9th for the Angels. 3 up and 3 down, and the Diamondbacks will come away with the victory here today as they beat the Angels by the final of